Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to talk about a few of the products that I love that specifically work well, I think, for people who are pale. I'm really pale, really fair skinned, especially in the winter time, and I find it really hard to find products that work really well for me because of this. So I just wanted to throw some suggestions out to you guys, so maybe you guys could repurchase these too, and also leave me some comments below about stuff that works for you that maybe I should try as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So as far as makeup goes, I had a really hard time for the longest time finding foundations that were at a good price point but also pale enough for me. Obviously Kat Von D foundations are really great for this, but those are really expensive. So as far as drugstore foundations go, I've been loving the Maybelline Fit Me foundations in both the stick foundation and in the liquid foundation. In the winter I use the Dewy and Smooth, but I love these in the shade Porcelain 110 because I think they're really nice and they're really pale. The liquid one is actually even a little bit darker than the stick one, which I think is odd because they're numbered in the exact same shade, but it works really well as both a combination. Also, when I blend it with a lighter concealer, it ends up working really well on the face. But yeah, that is something to be a little bit wary of. This still isn't like a true really pale foundation. It works if you're using a really pale concealer with it. So as far as that pale concealer that I use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer in the shade R20, and I believe this is the lightest one that they make. It would make sense because I'm pretty pale. But when I was at Sephora, I really wanted a new concealer that was high-end and full coverage. And this was one of the only ones, along with the Kat Von D one, that I swatched that was actually pale enough for my skin. And I love it a lot for my under eyes. It's really brightening, and I use it also on spots on my face, and in combination with my foundation, this blends really well. It's definitely lighter than the exact color of my skin tone, but that's what I was going for because as a pale person, it's really hard to find a concealer to highlight with because a lot of times the lightest shade that they'll offer is the shade of your skin. So when you're looking for something to highlight with, you're kind of out of luck. So I've really been loving this. It's a little bit pricey, obviously, because it is a high-end product, but I would recommend it. I think it works really well at the price point, and especially if you're pale, it's something that would be worth springing for. So highlighter is something that, again, can be a little bit tricky if you're pale. I know for me, sometimes highlighters are a little bit too pigmented as far as colors go, and you can see the color on my skin, which isn't necessarily what I want when I'm just going for a glowy look. So I think that these Sephora Luminizing Drops in the shade Morning Light work really well to give me a natural highlight without depositing too much color, and also without being too glittery, because sometimes when you're going for a highlighter that's light enough for your skin, it tends to be whitish or glittery or snowy looking on the skin almost, and I don't want that at all. So I find this gives a really good natural glow without depositing, again, too much unnatural color, and I would 100% recommend these. Contouring has always been the bane of my existence. Because I'm so light, it tends to make me look muddy, and no matter how well I blend it, I feel like my contour always looks super weird. But I found this Maybelline Master Contour Stick, and this is in the shade Light, and this works so well, so well. I can't even explain to you how much better this blends into my skin than when I was trying to use strictly a powder contour. It works so great for giving me shadows. It really has great undertones that work so wonderfully with my skin, and it's super easy to blend and buff out, and you can it's really one of those products you can build. It's super buildable. You can put more on if you want a deeper contour, you can put less on if you're looking for a lesser look, and I love this. I love this so much. I want to buy a million in case they ever stop making them, but this is what I would recommend for any pale girl out there who's been having a really hard time with the contouring trend, because it can make our faces look really dirty. And then over the top of that, I use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which it's not necessarily something that I would say is for lighter skinned people. It is, you know, it's still kind of a deep bronzer, but it is super buildable and super blendable, which I think is really key in a bronzer. It is really easy to work with, and you can put a ton of it on if you're looking for a more tan look, and you can put a little bit of it on if you're looking for more of a lighter look. And I put this over the top of my Maybelline contour stick, and it works really well to give me a good combination of a really light natural contour. And then this was a product I wasn't sure if I was going to include because it's definitely a little bit dark for pale skin. This is the NARS Orgasm Blush, But the reason I wanted to include it is because blush has been something that I've struggled with for a really long time, just like contour. I always feel like when I do blush, I end up with really dark pink patches right on my cheeks that are really hard to blend, and it's just like blush right in your face. It completely overshadows everything else I've done. But this is really blendable. So even though when I put it on, it is a little bit dark for my skin tone because I am so pale, as I'm blending it out, it ends up actually looking really beautiful and really natural. So I would recommend this to anyone who's looking for a good blush. As far as lips go, obviously matte lips have been a trend lately, and so have nude lips. And I love this Revlon Ultra HD lip color in the shade Seduction. It's what I have on my lips right now, and it has a little bit of a pinky undertone. It's a little bit more of a pinkier brown than like a true, yellowy or red brown. But I love it a lot because even though it is matte, it's not so drying where I feel like my lips are dry for days to come, and because I just hate that. So I really love this. I really recommend it. It's not too dark for pale skin tones, and it's a drugstore product, so it is really cheap. As far as red lips go, red lips can look really, really intense on people with pale skin, especially if you're pale skinned and dark haired like I am. But I find that this is MAC's lipstick in the shade Ruby Woo, and I love this lipstick. I was so surprised because obviously in the tube it looks really dark, and even swatches kind of dark, but I find on my face it has such pleasant undertones. I can't even really describe it. It's just really nice, and it works really, really well with my skin and what I like to look for in a red lipstick. And I would definitely recommend it because I know that's one of the shades that they say works on every skin color, and it's true. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I've been loving it on me, and I think you should try it too. And then going a little bit outside of the realm of just beauty products, I don't self-tan a lot, but when I do, I use the Saint Tropez In Shower Gradual Tanning Lotion, and I've seen a lot of really mixed reviews on this. Some people love it, some people hate it, but the biggest complaint I think is it is sort of awkward. You have to shut your shower off and stand there for 3 minutes just kind of cold. I don't necessarily find that a huge problem. I have kind of a high tolerance for cold, and I'm usually listening to music in the shower, so I can usually just listen to a song and stand there, and I don't find it terribly uncomfortable. And a lot of people complain that they don't feel as though this product deposits enough color. As a pale person, I can assure you this product is perfect. It doesn't leave you looking orangey or too sparkly. It deposits the perfect amount of color for someone who's as pale as I am, and I love it a lot. I would definitely recommend it. Again, this is a little bit of a pricier product, but it's something that I think is worth springing for if you're someone who has been having trouble finding a self-tanner that works for you because your skin is so fair. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope these products were helpful. And like I said before, please leave me comments telling me what you use if you're super pale because I would love to try them. I'm always looking for new ones. Bye!